Thank you for your attention. We thought that it might be in the best interest of our audience to warn you that this is a cursed episode and everything that could go wrong has gone wrong twice. Isn't that right?
It is. Can I say the way you started that out, though? I thought we were getting a divorce because that's the way it felt. All right, everybody, I want you to sit down. We're about to talk about this really serious issue. I'm like, he's getting a divorce from my mom. Oh, my gosh. No. So
you guys can choose who you want to go with.
Who do you want to stay with, mom or dad? I'm not sure which one I am, but whatever. Yeah, this episode was kind of crazy. This, I can tell you, in all the years of doing any kind of media, I understand that errors can happen. As a streamer, I used to be a streamer. I used to stream every day, 7 days a week, probably 350 days a year. I have not had this many problems back to back recording this. So,
it's so cursed. By the end of it, I couldn't even say the name of the character in the episode, and I'm not going to say it now because I don't want to start over.
We're not going to say it now. We're not starting over again.
No.
So if you see this all the way to the end, you know we didn't black out again. But when I go to edit this, I was going to piece it seamlessly so you guys could see nothing of the sort of this being cursed. I'm going to edit this to where you guys can see how cursed this thing literally is. I'm still going to make it watchable and listenable.
Yeah.
But I think you guys will have a little bit more of a fun time seeing what we had to deal with a mongoose. That's what we're going to say.
It's only fair. It's only fair.
It's only fair. So enjoy this podcast.
Enjoy the curse.
Grasping the thin, almost translucent veil between that of fact and fiction, revealing mysteries of the past, folklore passed down from father to son, unsolved murders, and things that go bump in the night. You've entered Deceptive Reality.
Hello and welcome to another episode of the
You want to begin again?
Okay. You know what messed me up? Take one.
What?
I had to do a take one.
I'm the one with multiple podcasts, Nick.
Clack me again.
Let's do it again.
Hello and welcome back to the Deceptive Reality Podcast. My name is Nick, who never forgets the name of his own podcast. And with me today is the rapscallion Bert.
The rapscallion that never forgets deceptive. I told Nick, listen, we've done this twice. Also, for you on YouTube land, you're going to say, what in the heck is he talking into? So for anyone that doesn't know, we got the Christmas episode coming up. I wanted to pull the best possible audio up. I've been sitting on this bad boy for a long time. It's for production. That's all I'm going to tell you about the Christmas episode, but I need this if that's any indication. You're not going to want to miss it.
What you all don't see is he's got this fancy Hollywood clacker. I think that's actually what they're called, isn't it?
They're called a clacker. Clacker.
Yeah, clapper. So anyway, for the first time ever, he says, take one. And I just focused on that take one. And I was like, take one? I'm not going to need a take two.
For those of you on YouTube, as you see, this now says take two. And we slap that bad boy.
I'm not going to need a take two. I've never needed to take two. And then I got, welcome to the...
Where are we at? What's
blanked.
The day?
Totally blanked on the name.
That is going to... Now, so far, you've messed up our name and our website, and I've not done that yet, Nick.
Yeah, I think I've got some kind of brain problem because I don't know where we are, what we're doing.
You know what it is, Nick?
What?
You know, the aliens. We've talked about this. They got you.
Yep. I know this implant's been bothering me in the back of my neck for quite some time.
It's the implant, Nick. They got you. They made it difficult for you this time around.
Oh, man, if it wasn't so funny, that'd be embarrassing. I just drew a total blank. I've never
made
had
my entire day
fright like that before. Like that was
you put a clacker with Nick and woo. He gone.
This just goes to demonstrate like perception affects reality, because I was like, I don't need to take two. I've never needed to take two. And of course, that's the time.
Well, look at it this way. You didn't need to take 3. So listen, that's good.
No. Oh, God, I wish you hadn't said that.
When I was recording my Amityville, which is on my personal channel, for some reason, there was one sentence I did like at least 12 takes.
Oh,
and the sentence wasn't that long, but there was 2 words that was right beside each other that for the life of me, I could not get those 2 words out back to back.
Do you remember what they are, or should we direct people to watch that?
I don't remember what it is. Like, they won't hear it because by the time, by like the 18th time of doing it, I got it down. But
if you hear one line where he's really tired, that's the one probably.
if there's one that I did really fast, because at first I'm like, maybe I'm just going too slow and I can't get it out. So then I sped it up, but then I started spitting all over the place because there was so many syllables in the one word that I'm like, I can't put these 2 words together. And I like, this is legit what I told myself. I said, I'm going to do this one more time. And if I can't get it, I'm rewriting the sentence. And I got to the second word and there was a slight pause because I'm like, I got it. And then I'm like, I can't pause though. So I kept going, but in post, I pieced it together so you'll never know. But I'm like, oh my gosh. So I feel your pain, Nick. They don't understand. Listen, these listeners don't understand the pain we go through.
I know. It's just sometimes you blank. Sometimes you can't pronounce stuff. Just part of the game.
Sometimes I forget entire words. Like I'll sit there. Yeah. Thank God I do a lot of editing on the post side. Because if you guys heard the raw of my podcast, especially like this one's just kind of free flowing, right? It's just 2 people having a conversation. But when it's just me talking to myself, if there was no post editing, y'all would never listen to it for reals.
See, I can't do that. I can't I need someone to bounce my thoughts and words off of. I just can't talk with no one listening. It's weird for me.
It is weird. It's weird for me too. The other weird thing is when I'm doing my own podcast, I get dry mouth. So I have to drink all the time. I don't know why.
I guess you don't get a break. You don't get a break in between because you sort of do when we go back and forth here.
But my podcasts are only like 30 minutes. Heck, we've talked for 30 minutes in a row.
Oh, that is true. That is true. I don't know. Ghosts, owls.
It could be them doggone owls, man. Listen, they've been drying my mouth out. I actually saw someone today, and then we'll jump into the topic, everyone. I'm sorry. We free spitting off the side. But I saw on the Reddit machine today, someone was asking if the Mothman was, forget it, some type of a crane. And I so badly wanted to respond, you're an idiot. But I'm like, I can't say that on Reddit. That would not be a nice thing.
Over there.
Yeah. But it was in the actual Mothman thing. But it was some type of a crane. I can't remember what it was now. Doesn't matter. Anyway. But I was like, crane or? No, it was a fancy, exotic name. I'd never seen this before, but apparently it's a really big crane. Like this thing stands like 4 foot something. I'm like, the description's 7 foot. You would know that if you listen to my podcast.
Those rubes.
Exactly. But yeah. So for anyone that doesn't know, in the Reddit community, I'm in like 20 different Reddits now, and they're all supernatural. The Mothman one and the Bigfoot one by far are the most entertaining ones.
I can imagine those ones.
People love to argue. They love to argue back and forth. And it's hilarious to watch because I'm not getting in the middle of it. I don't know enough. I just joined. It's called like the Dog Man. It's werewolves. Those people are civil to each other. I'm like, the heck are you doing? Argue. That's what they do over in the freaking Bigfoot and the freaking Mothman one.
You got to provoke them. Throw a little meat into the arena there and get them at each other.
I probably should. I'm too nice for that, Nick. I'm too nice. I just lean back and just watch things. Exactly.
They'll fight.
I'm trying to run
fight on their own.
Exactly. I'm trying to run a reputable podcast company. They might click on me and look and go, oh, they got podcasts on this. So I can't make them mad, Nick.
Yeah, that guy's like been provoking us. I can't believe he was.
Can't believe he's got
He
a
was a
podcast.
plant.
He's an idiot.
Yeah,
So this
downvote that guy.
exactly, and you know that. Listen, we're not going to get into that. I had a community that was a little rough for a while, but now they're nice to me. I like it.
Good.
This is Nick's week. For anyone that doesn't know, because we've covered. Let me see. Last week, the last one that our viewers that we recorded was Dorothy Eady came out. The second part of that one came out. And then since then, we've recorded 2 more. We recorded yours. Nick's episode air last time too. I am super excited about this. And when you said this episode, Nick, was your, what'd you say it was? Your one of your faves?
It was an old favorite, but let me explain. We've done a lot of heavy episodes lately. A lot of big 2-parters. This is a little 3-parter for the palate. Oh, no.
Oh, sorry.
This is a light refresher. Oh, like we're just going to have fun. It's not scary. It's pleasant.
For now, until I get my hands on it in post, Nick. We're going to add some demons in there.
You know what? This will probably turn to demons anyway. But it's not normally that way, but we like to go demonic here for some reason.
Well, listen, it's my MO, Nick.
But this is world famous, though.
Is it a UFO? I got my UFO shirt on.
Nope.
Technically,
I do like the shirt, though.
It could be a UFO or it could be a Bigfoot, Nick. Or, look, there's an alien right there, too. We got it all on this shirt.
I don't think it's any of those, but it would probably be closer to the Bigfoot.
Yes. Perfect.
But opposite. Littlefoot.
Littlefoot was a dinosaur, Nick.
Oh, no, this is literal Littlefoot. Are you ready to find out what that means?
Is it a gnome?
No, littler.
A fairy.
I don't know how to compare that.
Let's just see what is, Nick. You ready?
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's go.
Nestled atop a serene hillside on the Isle of Man, a charming farmhouse stood as the Irving family's haven in the early 1930s. James, a seasoned farmer with weathered hands, tended to the fields with unwavering dedication. Margaret, a gentle soul with a penchant for gardening, cultivated vibrant blooms that adorned the farmhouse exterior. Their teenage daughter, Voiri, navigated the transition from adolescence to adulthood amid the picturesque green hills, blissfully unaware that their tranquil existence was on the verge of a mysterious upheaval. Initially dismissing the peculiar scratching and scurrying sounds echoing through their walls as rural ambience, the Irvings soon found themselves at the threshold of the inexplicable. It was Voiri who first claimed to have made contact with an unseen entity, Gef the Talking Mongoose. The family's quaint abode, once a sanctuary of familial warmth, now held the secrets of a mysterious visitor that would weave itself into the very fabric of their lives.
I knew when you got to it, I could see you.
Woo! Nick, I've learned a few things from you, Nick. First off,
okay.
When we get to the fun episodes with you, it's always a farmhouse. It's always pre-50s. It's always a rural farmhouse. Did I hear all of this? First off, the girl's name is Laurie, right? Is that right?
Voiri. Voirey. Yep. Weird name, I know. Everything's weird about this.
I'm going to be honest.
Yeah.
When we got to the name, I forgot even where we were. What? Where in the world are we at on this?
We're in Ireland, in the Isle of Man.
And for
so I hope that's
not
the weirdest part. That's not the weirdest part.
For everyone that was sitting in the back seats in the rafters, Nick, can you tell them what we're talking about today?
Oh yeah, this is world famous. Do you know this one?
I have no clue, Nick.
All right,
no clue.
This is one of my favorite old stories. And we're talking about Gef the Talking Mongoose.
This sounds like a nursery rhyme, Nick.
Maybe it inspired some, but like Jeff's a good fella. He is smart and interesting. And he's come to live with the Irving family.
So for anyone that doesn't know, I'm trying so hard not to laugh. I'm sorry. For anyone that does not know, it's not quite Christmas time when we're recording this.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And I've watched Elf like 2 or 3 times, and they're trying to come up with this book. And they're like, what if it's a whatever it is on the farm, and they do this, and then that I forget what they prefer to be called now. The shorter man comes in and he's there to help them. But he comes in and he goes, well, he's an angry elf. That them talking about all these farm animals, that's the first thing that came to my mind. And I'm going to be honest, every time I hear that name, I'm probably going to start laughing because I picture an elf where the dad is trying to come up with a concept for a book. That's this, Nick. It's legit this.
No, his name's spelled kind of odd because I always laugh because his name's not anything spooky. It's just Gef. It's just Gef, but it's spelled Gef. Okay, just so you know.
One more time.
Gef, Gef. It's just like Jeff, like short for Jeffrey, but it's Gef. Yeah.
This is great. This may be my new favorite episode, Nick. Doesn't matter where it goes from here.
This is to reset us after some serious talks we've had recently.
You know, I never even thought about this. It also reminds me of Howard the Duck.
Oh, yeah. This could be like that kind of situation. Maybe he is an alien then, you know?
He might be an alien, Nick, because Howard the Duck.
He was in. Yeah. Yeah. So it could be. He could be an alien. But you see why I said it's not a Bigfoot. It's the opposite. It's a little foot.
It is very, I don't know. They got some itty bitty, what do they call the cat, beans, right? That's what they call the little cat toes, the beans.
Yeah. So you know what a mongoose is, right?
We don't have them here, but I've seen them. Yes.
No, we don't either. I think they're like from India and they use them to hunt snakes because they're immune to poison. So people like them.
They sound supernatural already, Nick.
Yeah. Like people like Jeffs and other, I don't know, Bobs and Steves and whatever the other mongoose names are. But
this is by far my favorite episode.
I think you're going to come to find as we go along that Gef is a stand-up fellow and we like Gef.
Here's what this is where I'm intrigued, Nick. Almost every episode we're trying to come up to a epiphany of sorts.
Right. Yes.
I can't wait to hear what this epiphany is. I can't. So far, listen, there's only been one episode where at the beginning I'm like, nah, this might be the second episode at the very beginning. I'm like, nope.
You're not telling me that you don't believe in Gef?
I'm telling you right now, the name Gef on a mongoose is not selling me with warm and fuzzy vibes. I'm dying to know how he got his name. I'm dying to know.
Well, you're not going to know that.
What?
But he is so confident in his own reality, he doesn't have to have a special name. He's just Gef.
I'm a Gef.
Yeah, my name's Gef. This isn't going to be one of our most mysterious, but
it's definitely not going to be
one.
Listen, this is going to be a fun one. We've like you said, we've covered some hard issues.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah.
You know, we had dog. My name is Jeff. We had Oak Island, Shroud of Turin.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Gef the Mongoose.
Yeah.
My favorite part is people's going to be looking at our lineup and they're going to go, "Ooh, Oak Island, Gef the Mongoose. The heck? Did they do cartoons?
He's famous. No, he's famous, man. I'm telling you,
the
he's
Mongoose?
famous.
No way.
Yeah. We're 2023 now, right?
Yes. Still, we're about to be 2024.
Yeah, I think it was this year that Simon Pegg made a movie about Gef.
What?
I think so.
The Mongoose?
So. Yeah. I've got a folder I gave you with some pictures in it. If you want to look, I think I put a picture of that there somewhere. Maybe not, but
I am literally. I can tell you, I've never, ever heard of this case. Now, again,
see the one starts with MV5.
I'm heading that way. I haven't quite got there yet. I closed all that because Nick kept screwing up all our things. This is like
I know.
This is like number 5 or something for us.
This episode is cursed, just so you all know.
This is a cursed episode. It's going to be in the title, the cursed episode. Who'd have thought a freaking mongoose would have taken us out?
Yeah, Gef knew you were going to make fun of him, so
Gef
he
is
prepared us something.
What the heck? That's crazy.
Yeah.
But even looking at this cover art, I think comedy.
Yeah, probably so.
Like, this doesn't look like a world-changing unsolved mystery.
There's reasons it became world famous that we will get to later, but
it's got Christopher Lloyd,
a bad guy.
Yeah, Jess is gonna like it so far.
Oh, really? Is that one?
Christopher Lloyd.
Oh, okay.
Back to the Future, Doc.
Maybe you guys got to watch that.
Trust me, for Christmas last year, she got a DeLorean with Christopher Lloyd's signature on the front.
Nice. How come she didn't tell you about this movie then?
I don't think she knew. I just looked up Christopher Lloyd the other day too. I didn't see any record of this either for him.
Oh yeah, man, this is world famous. This is big stuff.
And this movie's coming out?
I think it's out this year, already out, I think.
Wow. Interesting.
Yeah, this is Jeff's big time, dude. I'm not tugging your chain here.
Does he got a podcast already?
He will. After the success of this.
Well,
I don't want to give things around, but he could have, like, I don't want to give away parts of the future.
He clearly talks.
Here, he could have one.
I'm telling you, I'm not going to make it through this thing with a straight face, and my cheeks already hurt, Nick. They already hurt.
Oh, well, I hate to tell you, but your cheeks are really going to hurt after the next part, I think, because we're going to learn a little bit more about Gef.
I can't wait. Can we please go to the next section? I'm dying.
Yeah.
Nick.
Yeah, it's important because you need to learn about Jeff's character.
Let's go.
As the scratching sounds persisted and escalated into more audible phenomena, Gef, with his mischievous demeanor and razor-sharp wit, became a strange yet intriguing presence in the Irving household. Claiming to be a mongoose born in New Delhi, India, Gef asserted his extraordinary intelligence and the ability to shape-shift, his unseen form echoing through the halls. The Irving family, initially bewildered by the uninvited guest, began to engage in conversations with the unseen, creating an otherworldly connection that transcended the boundaries of the tangible and the ethereal. The Irvings say that Gef communicated to them that he was an extra clever mongoose, an earthbound spirit and a ghost in the form of a mongoose, and once said, "I am a freak. I have hands and I have feet, and if you saw me you'd faint, you'd be petrified, mummified, turned into stone or a pillar of salt. The Irvings made various claims about Gef. He supposedly guarded their house and informed them of the approach of guests or any unfamiliar dog. They said that if someone had forgotten to put out the fire at night, Gef would go down and stop the stove. The Irvings claimed Gef would also wake people up when they overslept, and whenever mice got into the house, Gef supposedly assumed the role of the cat, although he preferred to scare them rather than kill them. The Irvings say they gave Gef biscuits, chocolates, and bananas, and food was left for him in a saucer suspended from the ceiling, which he took when he thought no one was watching. The Irvings claimed the mongoose regularly accompanied them on trips to the market, but always stayed on the other side of the hedges, chatting incessantly. The farmhouse walls, once silent witnesses to the daily rhythms of farm life, now resonated with the whispers of an entity that defied explanation. The air was charged with a peculiar energy as Gef communicated through disembodied voices, laughter, and cryptic messages, leaving the family in a perpetual state of wonder and trepidation. Gef's revelations hinted at a knowledge beyond the mortal realm, leaving investigators intrigued and baffled by the depth of his insights.
So I need to see.
I feel like
Jeff's
this is a
resume.
dating profile. This is his dating profile.
Let me tell you, Jeff's resume is impeccable. He's mongoose,
Yep.
ghost,
Yep.
part-time cat.
Yep. Sometimes
Those are
a
my
scary
favorites.
looking freak, he said. That's his words. I don't want to
Sometimes scary
insult
look
him.
freak. You know, there was a part in there though that reminded me of a video that I
Mhm.
just saw this last week covering a case that I'm going to look into. It won't be for this podcast. It's not that interesting.
Okay.
It's like the Dorothy Eady of dogs though.
Oh, interesting.
Mm-hmm. You know how they got
Interesting.
those buttons for the dogs and the dogs will press
Yeah.
it to like go outside and stuff like that?
Yeah.
They got this dog. I think it's like a collie or something. And they set up all these buttons and they was teaching it the buttons and stuff like that. And one day it kept pressing the help button and they thought it was
Okay.
broken. Or they thought that the dog just didn't understand what help was. So they're trying to, however they teach these dogs what these buttons are.
Right.
But the dog would click help and then walk over to the mirror.
Mm.
And they kept noticing that it kept hitting help and going to the mirror. So they're like, maybe there's something on him that he sees.
Yeah.
So they bring him back to the buttons again.
Right.
And he clicked help, sad, and something else. Or, it was help, sad, and need out. Like need
Oh.
outside. But
Yeah.
instead of need out, they would click help. They'd open the door and he would just go back to the mirror. So they're like, what if our dog was a human and reincarnated into a dog?
Oh,
And
that must have been
now-
a bad human.
That's a real bad human. It's kind
Yeah,
of like his
'cause that's-
mongoose.
Yeah, well, that's how that stuff works. Like if you're a bad human, you got to go backwards on the wheel and you become something crappier.
Man, dogs live a good life, man. I don't know what you're talking about.
Well, yeah, that's true.
After
but-
humans, you probably go up to a dog if that's true.
maybe dog's the next step up.
But yeah, this dog, it kept doing it and they had to put it on depression medication.
Oh.
It became depressed and it wouldn't do anything. And then they put on depression medication and it still
Mhm.
does it. But they say it still goes back to the mirror and just stares at itself
Yeah.
like it's confused.
Oh, that's crazy. That's scary on its own.
Isn't it scary? I'm going to look
Yeah.
into it more. I'm super curious, but yeah, I heard that and I'm like, that's the craziest thing I've ever heard. But this mongoose got the same thing going on. It doesn't know
Yeah.
what it is. It can talk. It's
Or-
got hands.
I don't want to make any accusations. Does it not know? Or is it lying?
It's a mongoose, man.
Right.
Can't
Is
trust
it,
a
though?
mongoose.
Is it even
Here's
a
the thing.
mongoose?
Here's the thing. It's from freaking India, it said, right? Didn't it say it was born in India?
Yeah, that's what it said. Yeah.
Are
it said
mongooses
it,
even in India? Is that an India thing?
I think so. I think so. I think that part's true.
We're gonna fact check that.
Yeah,
Nick.
he's
I don't
from
feel like that's
New
correct.
Delhi, he said.
Yeah, that doesn't sound right. Right?
No. Well, if there's no mongooses in India, he was definitely lying.
Yeah, we're fact checking on the spot. Yes, mongooses are found in India. Never mind. Okay.
Yeah.
In fact,
he
several
knows his stuff.
species. Yeah, several species of mongooses
yeah.
live across various regions of India. One of the most well-known species is the Indian gray mongoose.
Okay. Now, it's not in the narrative, but Gef says that his fur was yellow.
Fur is yellow.
Yeah, that's what he said. And they found some of it. They found some Gef fur.
Yeah?
And it was indeed yellow.
How do we know it wasn't white and he didn't pee on it, Nick?
Well, he might be embarrassed to tell you that, so it could be.
Could be.
But yeah, so he makes a few claims about himself.
Mm-hmm.
Like sometimes he's like, don't worry about this. I'm just a really clever mongoose. I'm just exceptional.
That's legit.
Yep. Sometimes he's like, nah, I'm really a spirit though. I'm really a spirit. And then sometimes he's a ghost, but don't ask me about my past life.
I'm sure we're going to cover that at some point, or cover this that I'm about to ask.
Uh-huh.
Who all knows about Gef?
Right now, only those three people. Only the Irving family.
Does it expand?
It gets real complicated eventually.
With Gef the mongoose? That's hard to believe, Nick.
Yeah.
I don't believe it.
Yeah. Now, when he said the long thing about himself, and I'll read it back to you now. I am a freak. I have hands and I have feet. And if you saw me, you'd faint. You'd be petrified, mummified, turned to stone or a pillar of salt. The pillar of salt, isn't that like a biblical kind of thing?
So, funny that you say this, Nick. It is, but did you also know it was a UFO thing?
I did not know that. Can you give me a little more info on that?
Yes. So I think it was Russia in the 1960s, there was a flying disc over something and they shot it down with a they shot at it with a missile and they hit it.
Okay.
When the space, whatever, the disc fell, it hit the ground. It stayed intact. They got there. And when they got there, apparently 2 or 3 aliens came out of the thing, shot them with a gun that turned them all to stone or pillars of salt.
That's wild.
Yeah. And
that's ancient alien stuff, I think.
Well, that came out in a release from Russia, I think like 4 or 5, maybe 10 years ago. But it was them trying to figure out the technology to turn somebody to stone or to salt. They couldn't figure out how they were trying to figure out how that happened. But apparently, everyone there, quote unquote, basically died with the exception of like 1 or 2 people. Everyone. There was like 8 people there. Mm-hmm.
What is it about this pillar of salt stuff? Because we've got aliens things, we've got biblical things. At one time, salt was the most valuable thing there was. Like it's pretty wise. And Gef mentions it, and I feel like that's not a common parlance thing to bring up. That seems kind of weird to me.
It's definitely. I wish it wouldn't have told me its name. I think like when I think of like pillars of salt, because obviously biblically there's a very well documented pillar of salt. And that's when she turned around, took a little glance when she shouldn't have. The theory is, in which I've seen some scholar stuff on this, and it's actually very interesting. They say that even when the atomic bombs fell, that when the, whatever that is, the heat wave from the explosion would hit people, they would turn into what looked like a pillar of salt. Now, obviously, there was salt inside of those pillars.
Yeah.
But the reason they called them pillars of salt was because if there was enough force, they would just crumple and it was like ash, basically.
Yeah.
Harder than ash, but like it would just dissipate like an ash would.
Yeah, that's horrifying.
But some people say that Sodom and Gomorrah was the equivalent of like an atomic bomb.
Yeah, I was just thinking that when you were saying that, like that might appear to be that kind of thing. And hey, who's going to look back if that happened to her? Like, I'm not going to investigate that close up. I'm going to be like, okay, see ya.
Correct. And in fact, a lot of biblical things, and I don't necessarily agree with them. It's just fun to talk about them sometimes. Some of them, they basically said that God doesn't create new ways of doing things. They use technology. He uses technology that's still here in the now. So instead of dropping a bomb, he would just create the equivalent of an atomic bomb. And they technically just found what they believe is Sodom and Gomorrah like 4 or 5 months ago.
Oh, I wonder if there'd still be traces of radiation, maybe, if that was the case.
That's why I brought that up. I don't think that there was, but they did find, what they found interesting was they found what looked like nuclear, the equivalent, it doesn't look like a bomb went off there, but it looks like the equivalent of what we saw when we dropped nuclear bombs. And the biggest thing they noticed was apparently the way they did stone back then, it caused formation differences within each one of those. But they literally just found that like 5 or 6 months ago. So who knows what they're going to find as time goes by. Now, some scientists go, not Sodom and Gomorrah, just fits the narrative. It looks very similar to, but a lot of people's digging it up going, if you look at the biblical references, this kind of fits those biblical references. No different than like Noah's Ark. They believe they found that also. But
or the city of Troy, even people were thought that was completely fabricated. I think we talked about that on another episode, so I won't go into detail there. But
they're starting to find a lot of these places that was biblical. And again, that doesn't necessarily prove for anyone that thinks I'm trying to turn this religion. That's not, you can believe what you want to believe, but it's interesting that all these biblical places they're finding literally now, I mean, in 2023, 2024, who knows what they'll find, but 2023 has had some banger discoveries. Technically speaking,
exciting stuff.
Technically speaking, we're fulfilling prophecy right now, biblically, when you look at them rebuilding the temples. I mean, that's everyone said that would never happen. And they're legit, like the Jews are rebuilding all the temples. They just started doing sacrifices for the first time last year there.
Isn't that a sign of the end when they start doing that?
Yes. Like literally they're fulfilling the end pieces, which is crazy to think about.
Yeah, you heard it here first. Run up your credit cards. You ain't gonna have to pay. No, kidding. Well, don't do that, please.
Here's the thing. Even if this biblical prophecy was fulfilling, which it is technically in writing, it's kind of interesting. Anyway, even if you believe in 100%, we're so far out because like the Antichrist doesn't come out until all of that is complete. And even then we're dealing with time periods. So it's for all the biblical people, they're like, we told you it's happening right now. It's interesting.
Do you know if they translate the letters for the Antichrist name, it equates to GEF?
No, it doesn't.
No, it doesn't. I made that up.
Oh, I was like, man, it's crazy.
It's Gef.
Isn't Gef? Wouldn't it be crazy?
That is crazy. But anyway, the reason I brought that up, which is a fun tangent, but that's kind of a weird thing to say to this family. He's like, I'm so horrifying. I'll turn you to stone or a pillar of salt and all this stuff. And he's not letting them see him. Like if he's just a mongoose, why not? He doesn't let them see him. They catch glimpses of him now and then. but they don't see Gef mostly. They hear him, and
you
he
know,
don't stop talking.
you know what this reminds me of a little bit
What?
is the equivalent of what country is it? The boogeyman, but the equivalent in, is it India? I think it's India. Their equivalent of a boogeyman.
Mm-hmm.
The different countries have different versions of boogeymen, but the boogeyman, if you look at it, is like a troll creature,
Okay.
but it's a deceiver. It's like a big deceiver. I want to say it's India but that's kind of what it's known for. That's what this sounds like. It sounds like, first off, if it was a mongoose had all this power, you would think it'd just come out and be like, I'm a mongoose, check me out.
Yeah. Yeah. Look at me. Maybe got a little suit on or something. And
Yeah, it could be like that frog from Looney Tunes. Remember back in the
Yeah.
day? Hello, my baby. Hello, my darling. Hello, my ragtime
I
girl.
do. And that's where I always thought when I first heard this story that that's where that was going to go.
Yeah.
Like he just wouldn't, because a lot of these things, like the family hears it, all that kind of stuff, but no one else does. Well, it might be different later on for this. But he's a liar. Like he's telling him a lot of tales here.
Wow. You're throwing him under the bus like that, Nick?
I know, but he's looking after for these people. Like they forget to turn off the stove at night. He goes down and he turns it off. Like he's really non-violent. He prefers to chase mice away instead of killing them. So he's a really nice guy. He's really good.
He's a mongoose.
Yeah, he just wants biscuits, chocolates.
That's it.
That kind of stuff. Yep. And they suspend something up on the ceiling from him because they want him to be able to eat and stuff undisturbed, but he doesn't know that sometimes they catch a glimpse of him up there.
Oh, do they now?
Yeah, but they don't let on because he don't want them to see him because he said, if you see me, you ain't gonna like it, right?
I mean, he's a yellow mongoose. What's the hate, Nick?
Yeah, you would think so, right? But he does not want to be seen. But he's talking nonstop. He wakes you up in the morning it's like a kid at Christmas. He follows them all the way to the market and he's just hiding in the bushes chattering the whole time. And I'm picturing like a 4-year-old, like asking questions, telling you about his favorite dinosaur.
Oh, of course.
All that kind of stuff.
Of course. 100%.
But that's the kind of stuff that Gef's into. That's his dating profile in a nutshell. That's his Tinder.
I love Gef already.
I like Gef too. Yeah, but
he's got class.
He's got moxie.
He really does.
Do you get any kind of feeling like there's some kind of ulterior motive at all, or
yeah, Nick, yeah, for 100%.
Like
every time we do these, huh?
Have you got any theories on him? Like, how do you feel about Gef so far?
Like, if someone asked me, what is Gef right now? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. What is Gef, and is he good? Is he bad? Like,
no, Gef is a doggone demon, Nick. Instead of a kid this time, he chose a mongoose.
But he's doing nice things for him, though. A demon wouldn't do that, would they?
Yeah, of course demons do. In the beginning.
Interesting.
They always do, Nick. Demons always do. I just did, like I said, Amityville. I just did that for my podcast, which is like 3 weeks for these folks. But in that one, the Lutz family moved in. And very similar to this story, very similar, Missy, I think is the daughter's name, befriended a imaginary friend named Jody.
Oh, okay.
And Jody, they said, would change shapes from a little kid to a man to a little small creature. So it fits. It fits.
That's one of the things Gef said he can do.
Isn't that a notice that?
Yeah. What was that part there? He said something about shape shifting.
I told you, Nick, there's a demon.
Was. Yeah.
Coincidentally, is Gef in Amityville?
Is Gef in Amityville?
Yeah, and we know he's in Ireland, but did he go to Amityville? Maybe Gef is who haunts Amityville.
Oh, it could be. It could be.
Gef, don't come to my house. I don't like you no more.
Gef ain't retired. But so you asked earlier, does everyone, is it just these people who know about Gef?
Yes.
And everyone was happy when that was the case. But, and it's not so much in the narrative here, so I'll explain it now. But you know how Gef followed him to the market talking and jabbering and all that stuff? Well,
in the bushes.
Yeah, sometimes they'd mention people to Gef, but then some people would hear Gef talking to him from the bushes. So it caught the attention, and then things started to get a little wild. You want to move on to that part?
Of course I do.
All right.
You sold me already, Nick. I got to know.
Let's roll.
Roll that beautiful bean footage.
The Irving residence metamorphosed into a chaotic hub of activity as journalists, researchers, and the merely curious flocked to witness the inexplicable talking mongoose phenomenon. The once tranquil farmhouse, now bathed in the harsh glow of media attention, became a theater where skepticism and belief collided in a spectacle that transcended the ordinary. Gef, delusive and cunning, remained just out of sight, a master of staying one step ahead of those who sought to unravel his mystery. The air was thick with skepticism, casting shadows over the authenticity of the talking mongoose. Doubts began to cloud the once charming narrative, challenging the very fabric of reality for the Irving family and those who bore witness to the inexplicable. In the midst of the media frenzy, Fuari, caught between defending the enigmatic mongoose and questioning the validity of her own experiences, became a central figure in a drama that blurred the lines between the known and the unknown.
Between the known and the unknown, Nick.
That's right. So at this point, people have heard Gef talking in the bushes. They've said, hey, what's going on here? They go look in the bushes, no one's there. People are catching little flickers of his tail and stuff like that. But they're like, yeah, we got no reason why this talking mongoose or spirit or ghost or something moved in with us. It's helping us out. He won't stop talking, but that's the deal. So they've got media everywhere. They've got newspapers, and I included some clippings in the document you can look in later. Yep. Really became world famous pretty quickly. So they're just getting overrun. Like this was the Isle of Man was not a giant place. Like there wasn't a ton of people around. So now there's just a circus, a media circus is what this would be.
The wild thing to me is, I would assume a lot of people would have a lot of questions. If you're a newspaper reporter.
Right.
Now, granted, when did this happen? A long time ago.
This was quite some time ago.
I would assume even back then, in the forever land.
Yeah. The 30s, by the way.
The 30s.
Yep.
I would assume you would have to see it because otherwise you're like, man, these people are ventriloquists. Like, I don't.
Right.
Then again, man, newspaper reporters they was just putting something out for their next article. So.
Yeah, but there must have been something to keep them there. Because if they had got there and there wasn't anything to it, I wouldn't imagine that they'd stay and harass these poor people for so long.
That is a very interesting thing.
Yeah, now the title of that movie, I'm going to get it for you right quick here. The title of that movie was pretty strange. It didn't say Gef.
Correct.
It was called Nandor Fodor and the Talking Mongoose. So that's a man who is investigating sensationalist claims and stuff, and he moved in there to investigate Gef.
Oh, he moved into the The farmhouse?
Yeah, they had people staying there all the time trying to investigate and, find find out what's going on with this. Because, and here's the thing, Gef didn't shut up when people come. He had no problems talking to people. He didn't want anyone to see him, but he loved people to pay him attention. He loved talking to people, and he would have quite the discussion with people who came over there. Now,
Talking as a skeptic.
Yes.
And I have two trains of thoughts here because I believe there's some paranormal investigator people that's doing some fakery right now.
Mm-hmm. Okay. In this story, you mean?
No. Just right now, like IRL right now. They just had some stuff come out and I'm like, this is fake. And they're fine with showing what they do because, again, I think there's some type of ulterior motive.
Right.
Because then they get famous, right? So I think of a case like this. Let's say, hypothetically speaking, the guy is a ventriloquist and he can throw his voice.
Right.
I'm assuming nowhere did they even check for that.
Well, here's the thing. They suspected 2 of the 3 people living there. Skeptics suspected 2 of the 3 people living there of being the source of Gef's voice. The father and Vari. Because Vari was sort of like the first person who got close to Gef. So a lot of people say, oh, it's Vari doing it somehow, disguising her voice, making it sound like a little bit more manly kind of thing. Or it's the father. So they separated them out of the house and they could still keep talking to Gef normally as they would. However, here's the thing. This is what the skeptics come up with. And these people would be geniuses if they could figure this out. So between the walls of their house, the insulation wasn't good. So there was a lot of places that were wide open. They speculated that Vari and the father were so familiar with the house that even if they were taken outside, they could whisper and their voice would carry through the walls and talk in Gef's voice. That was their speculation.
Makes sense. Yeah, I think that's skeptics at that point. I think skeptics are trying to paint
that's a
something
reach.
that's not there. That's a heavy reach, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Even back then, obviously, I know houses are different, but you're going to hear things differently.
Right.
So if you're outside, even though you can project your voice, doesn't mean that you can hear what they're asking on the inside as easily.
Yeah, not to mention if you're talking to Gef inside the house and you move the source of the voice outside the house, that's definitely going to change what the sound of Gef is, I would assume. Like you'd have to be a super genius ventriloquist to pull that off.
Yeah, well, there's still things called science that says that regardless of how good you are as a ventriloquist, there's still limitations to what you can and can't do.
Yeah. Now, of course, nothing I've ever read put that they suspected the mother at any time or tested her at any time. So I'm going to inject my bit of skepticism that it could have been the mother and just no one ever suspected her. Because she was present all the time.
That is interesting.
Yeah, but nowhere is it written anything at all about it being theorized that she had any involvement in any trickery.
And I'm going to assume at some point in time in this narrative, we're going to talk about when this event has stopped, or is it still ongoing?
We will talk about that. Unfortunately, for you, that's the last segment.
Perfect.
So, yeah,
at least I know it's in there somewhere.
Yeah, that's a little wild, actually. You're gonna laugh at that too, I think.
I mean, he's got a movie coming out. Listen, next is a podcast.
I've not seen it either, and I only found about it when I was researching this. So I'm interested to watch that myself. I have a feeling
super
it's going to be a
interesting.
comedy, like you said, and it's going to be like
Oh,
Gef
Dr.
is not
Doolittle.
real or whatever.
Yeah, it's gonna be Dr. Doolittle, man. Dr. Doolittle, number 4.
and Gef the Talking Mongoose.
And Gef. It's me, it's Gef.
Every time since that movie came out, that's all I hear when I think about this. What's your name, Mongoose? Me name Gef.
Facts.
I don't know how you could listen to this without hearing that.
Oh, there's no way. There's no way you couldn't.
Yeah, I love the serious topics we cover, but every once in a while I just want to laugh about these things. Although
gotta have a fun one.
I don't know if it's going to break your heart or make you feel vindicated, but there's some things in the next segment that kind of supports the demon theory.
Ooh, we love supporting.
Mm-hmm. Do you want to hear?
Let's hear that, Nick.
Yeah, this part's called Theories and Unanswered Questions. So let's get into that.
In the midst of the media storm, Gef continued to deliver cryptic messages, share bizarre anecdotes, and even predict future events. The Irvings found themselves in a constant state of unease, caught between defending the enigmatic mongoose and questioning the reality of their own experiences. Gef's unpredictable nature added an air of mystique, leaving the farmhouse in a perpetual state of anticipation and suspense. Investigations into Gef's claims intensified as psychical researchers sought to validate the uncanny revelations. Gef's insights into the personal lives of the investigators and his ability to recount events occurring beyond the confines of the farmhouse left researchers both astounded and perplexed. The inexplicable nature of Gef's revelations added an additional layer of complexity to the investigation, leaving the Isle of Man in the grip of an enigma that transcended the boundaries of conventional understanding. As the echoes of Gef's presence slowly faded from the Isle of Man, a void of unanswered questions remained. Theories and speculations about what Gef truly was and what might have triggered his arrival circulated among investigators and intrigued minds. Some posited that Gef was a manifestation of collective psychological energy, a poltergeist created by the intense emotions and unspoken tensions within the Irving family. Others believed in the possibility of a supernatural entity, a guardian spirit, or a mischievous elemental force drawn to the tranquility of the farmhouse. Psychics and mediums claimed Gef could be a spirit, possibly trapped between dimensions, seeking solace or a connection to the living. The mysterious mongoose's ability to share seemingly accurate information about distant events fueled the belief that Gef might have been a conduit to realms beyond human understanding. Skeptics, however, argued that the entire phenomenon might have been an elaborate hoax perpetrated by the Irvings, suggesting that Voirrey, in her desire for attention, might have conjured the character of Gef. They proposed that the scratching sounds, disembodied voices, and cryptic messages were mere products of a vivid imagination. The theories surrounding Gef's origin and purpose were as diverse as the colors in a twilight sky, each offering a glimpse into the mysterious nature of the unexplained. What triggered Gef's arrival remained a puzzle, leaving the Isle of Man with an enduring legacy of uncertainty.
That, Nick, is demon all over it.
Yeah, I think I'll draw your attention, which I'm sure you heard, to the part that supports that the most is, and I'll expand on this too, the reason that the media came and stayed and everyone kept interest and become worldwide is because not only would Gef continue talking to you when you arrived, he would tell you intimate and private details from your own life and would know what's going on in distant places as they happened.
So that fits demons. Mm-hmm. Demons do that.
Yep. The Poltergeist, or not the Poltergeist, the Exorcist movies did a lot of that kind of thing.
Correct.
And the episode we did with, I can't remember his name, Doe, wasn't it?
Roland Doe.
Roland Doe. There was a lot of that going on there too. So that's the part I thought you'd definitely gravitate to.
Yes. It's 100% a demon. 100%.
Yeah.
At this point, it's going to be hard to sell me on anything other than a demon. If it wasn't for the fact that it knew things,
Right.
that's the part that has me kind of, you know.
Yeah. And we talked in other previous episodes about one of the things is these things sort of graft themselves into your life, and the more attention and energy you give them, the stronger they get too. So
Right.
this guy's getting super well known. But here's
He's
the
getting
weird
fed.
thing. This is the 30s. So back at that time, especially in remote towns, you think people would be crying demon left, right, and center. No one ever mentions it.
It's Ireland, though. It's a little different.
Yeah. Oh, they definitely believe in demons, though, don't they?
I don't, that I couldn't tell you. I don't know.
Hmm.
There was one part in here, just because this is funny to me anyway,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
even though we're laughing about a demon.
That's the
There
best
was-
way to take care of them.
There was a part in there where, at the very beginning, where it said that Gef was giving them basically more riddles, basically.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
What was the wording it used?
Let's see. Was it this section or earlier?
This most recent section, yeah. It said something along the lines of it kept giving people like riddles or something.
Let's see. I have it on my screen. I'm just reading through. Sorry.
You're fine. Basically, it said something along the lines for everyone that the more people that was coming, it was giving them like more things to try to figure out. The way I took it was more ways to figure out who he was or what he is, or
Sorry, cryptic messages is probably
cryptic message. Yeah,
you were
that's what I was
talking on.
So
Yeah,
in
but,
my mind, instantaneously, you know where it went?
Where?
If the mongoose was the Joker from Batman, could you imagine? Like you're sitting inside the house. So then while we're listening, I went to Chat GPT
Mhm.
and I said, this is literally what I said. If Gef the mongoose was the Joker from Batman, what would his riddles be? I'm gonna give you guys one as we go,
boy.
as we finish this. So Gef would say, I speak without a mouth and I hear without ears. I have no body, but I come alive with wind. What am I? You guys have to figure that out in the comments down below.
Okay, so I shouldn't say what I think it is.
You can say, what do you think it is?
I think it's corn.
An echo. It
Oh,
says this plays into Jeff's mysterious nature as a talking mongoose and the Joker's fondness for puzzling questions.
Well,
He'd be an
actually, here's
echo.
another thing. Let's relate him to Joker again. What's Joker's famous thing from the Dark Knight trilogy? Not the trilogy, but just the Dark Knight one. He gives a different origin story every time he talks about his scars.
That is true. He does, because he talks about how he got those lines.
Yeah, yeah. Which I think are called isn't that called the Glasgow Smile or something like that? We'll have to look that up. But
I think that is correct.
Yeah. And so Gef, another part here that might have been what you were thinking about is what triggered Jeff's arrival remained a puzzle because he kept giving different origins, and one question he would never ever answer, and that's why he showed up.
We never know why demons show up, Nick.
Right. But he's such a nice guy. You can't say that Jeff's a demon, can you really?
I mean, I think Gef is saying that without saying that. That's not on me.
I mean, Jeff's not saying that. He's just saying he's self-conscious. He's a little bit ugly. He don't want people to look at him. He's got yellow fur. I mean, you even said that sounds like fur that got pee in it. Like that's probably hurt his feelings quite a bit.
I mean, possibly.
Yeah, he likes people and he likes to chat and he does things for him. He just don't want to be seen because he's ugly.
Well, and I just looked up what world-renowned demons are known as being tricksters.
Okay.
And it's a lot of them in different areas. So Loki which was Norse
Mhm.
mythology.
Yeah.
Puck, which is English folklore.
Yeah. Midsummer's Night Dream.
Yep. I'm gonna screw this one up. Anansi?
Anansi
Ananasi?
the spider from Africa.
Yes, that's it.
Yep.
Yep, it's African folklore.
Oh,
The
I'm a
coyote, which we
folklorist.
just talked about the coyote, which was
Yep.
Native American mythology.
I
In
don't
fact,
consider
we
any
talked
of
about
these
that.
demons, though. I don't consider any of these demons.
I think most people would consider it more like which goes back again to what we've been talking about, these
Mhm.
skinwalkers.
Yeah.
What if this is a skinwalker?
It could be. He shapeshifts. He said so himself.
That's what I'm saying. And that's what skinwalkers do.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Ishu, which
I
is
don't know that one.
Yoruba religion, or Yoruba.
Okay.
And this one you should definitely know,
Mhm.
Nick. Kinsun, which is Japanese folklore.
Oh, Kitsune.
Kinsune,
That's which
yeah.
is a fox, a spirit.
Says it's
Yeah.
a benevolent or malevolent, with some stories focusing on their trickster aspects, often playing tricks on arrogant and boastful people.
Yeah, I don't think this family was arrogant or boastful, but like sometimes it's benevolent, that one says. So
Yes.
I mean, is it possible? Like there in some things there's millions of demons, like there's millions of people. Is it not
For sure.
possible one could be just like, I don't agree with any of this stuff. I'm nice. I'm a nice guy. Is that possible?
With a demon?
Yeah.
No.
Maybe he's had second thoughts about what's been going on.
Think of every equivalent, like, I just did some research on this, not for anything podcast related, which is interesting. I just got
Right.
curious one day. I was looking at all the different entities.
Right.
And like, let's use, for example, a jinn, which I'm sure you're well versed with, right?
Oh, yeah.
I always thought a jinn was like a ghost, but it's technically not. It's significantly different.
Yeah. Yeah.
And when you look at every single, like, whether it's like ghosts and spirits and stuff like that, I consider a jinn the equivalent of a demon.
Right. They are, I'd say, closer to that than a ghost any day.
Correct. Yeah. Because a ghost is
Right.
technically a living spirit that they believe is either residual or intelligent.
Right.
Then you've got spirit. A lot of people, they use spirit and ghost. They almost intertwine the two, but they're actually
Right.
completely different things.
Oh,
A
yeah.
spirit is considered not a human, but was
never been alive.
correct. Yeah.
Is how I say it. Yeah.
Yes, that is a perfect analogy. Yeah. Almost like elementals, right? Like when we talk about elementals, it'd be very similar to like an elemental. But then, like, I almost put like if someone, I get excited when I start talking about this stuff. I'm sorry, folks. I'm going to start blending words together.
Oh, that's awesome.
I think when we look at like all these different things, right? Because I try to categorize things when I write stuff. So it's like, this is a ghost. This is a spirit. This is a shadow man. Right? Because there's ghost, spirit, shadow man, demon, jinn. I didn't add jinn to my stuff until recently, but it's slightly different, but it's more on like that demonic side, right? A shade.
Watch Wishmaster if you've never seen those movies, then you'll get the real idea.
Oh yeah, I've never seen that. Wishmaster?
Yep. It's all about the jinn.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and it's not
another.
They're not like Gef though. They're not very nice.
Like what's crazy to me though is like Oni, right? Like I always thought Oni was just, whatever. I didn't think it was that big. It's like a huge deal.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
A huge deal.
Oh yeah. They're more like a cross between an ogre and a demon. And Oni is
right.
but
it's still on that demon side.
Yeah. But I guess what I'm asking is like, I've
but
never
none of those
in my
are nice.
life. No, but I've never met, that I know of, a serial killer, right? Because there's so many of us.
You've probably met one.
Right. But maybe I haven't, though. But there's so many, like the percentage is real low. Okay. But
Of serial killers?
Yeah. Compared to normal people.
Hmm.
Like it's not 50-50. Not even close.
Oh, yeah. Not even close to that.
No, it's like 1%, less than 1%, actually. I bet it is. You look like you might be getting me that number.
Yes, I'm working on it.
Okay. So, how I've always pictured demons, because like in some things like the Key of Solomon and stuff like that, there's literally millions of demons, right?
Sure.
I've always wondered, could it be that the percentages are flipped? Instead of
What do you
us
mean?
having 0.001% of the population is a serial killer, theirs is 0.001% is actually a decent guy.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
Could be.
Because I mean, they're supposed to be smart, correct?
Yes.
And you can't be intelligent without being able to absorb new information, I think is correct. And
Yeah.
only their boss was really so self-absorbed he couldn't learn a lesson. There might be some of them that were like, oh man, I made a big mistake on Monday. I should not have done that.
See, no, that's not biblical.
No? Does it actually say they're all bad guys?
Basically, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, there's got to be one out there that's just like, oh, I shouldn't have done that.
Nick's like, nah, listen, we're rewriting this Bible thing now.
But like, if you're smart and you're living a crappy life now, you can at least say, man, I made a big error. I should not have done that.
I think like in the human mindset, that's true. But then again, I know people that even though they know they're wrong,
right,
they will never accept that they're wrong and never admit that they're wrong.
True. But you know some people that will.
That is true. I do.
Yeah. Maybe Bob the Demon thinks it was a bad idea.
Could be.
Yeah.
According to statistics, FBI estimates that respectively less than 1% of murders committed in any given year, given the murders themselves are a small subset of the general population, this indicates that serial killers are an even smaller fraction. If we consider estimates that are approximately 25 to 50 active serial killers in the United States at any given point in time.
Mm-hmm. That's a lot more than I expected, but that's still less than a percentage.
So saying 20 to 50 are active serial killers and the U.S. population is 330 million.
Right.
So very unlikely.
Yeah. So that's less than 1%.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. So my theory is that the percentage of decent, it's flip-flop for demons. 99.99999% are serial killers, and 1% is just some guy who made a mistake on Monday and he regrets it. And maybe it's Gef.
Could be Gef.
Maybe it's Gef. He's like, I'm going to help out these guys. I'm real sorry about what I did.
Very well could be. Maybe. Listen, maybe technically, if you look at genies, they were considered a form of demons also.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I don't know, just like, when I got that feeling about AI Jesus, like I really heart to heart felt him.
You fell in love with the guy, basically.
I did actually. I really feel that Gef is not bad either. I'm getting the feeling, not the same kind of feeling, because AI Jesus is like, whoa, way up here. But Gef the Talking Mongoose, I think he probably is a demon, but I think he's repentant.
Well, just for you, I did look up, is there any world-renowned nice demons?
Okay.
And it did come up with some, and some we know.
Oh, okay.
So, prime example, I'm going to butcher these.
Okay.
We talk about the jinns.
Yeah.
This is a djinn?
Okay.
Djinn?
I think that's
It's
how you spell
Islamic?
jinn anyway, isn't it?
Is it?
I think so. Excuse me, DJINN.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It says it's Islamic and Middle Eastern mythology,
Mm-hmm.
often referred to as the Western culture as genies,
Yeah.
and are supernatural beings in the Islamic mythology and pre-Islamic Arabian mythology.
Yeah.
While some jinns are malevolent, others are benevolent or neutral, capable of helping humans or granting wishes.
Right. So, I mean, that's like, we already classified them as demons. So, could be some nice
Then
ones.
you've got Hakshash and
Hot sauce.
Yashinis.
No, I don't. Sorry, I don't know this one.
Yeah, it's Hindu and Buddhist texts.
Okay.
So they're usually benevolent,
Mm-hmm.
but they can be tricksters or have a dual nature of being both helpful and malevolent.
Mm-hmm.
Then there's guardian demons, which is ancient Mesopotamian religion.
Yeah.
These beings are often described as hybrids. Prime example,
Mm.
human-headed bull or a lion with wings, and are believed to protect against evil spirits and misfortune.
Okay. Well, that sounds nice. Doesn't it sound
That
nice?
does sound nice. That
Okay.
sounds nice.
Okay.
This one's the one that sounds really nice.
Okay.
Fairies.
Yeah.
Says some are helpful to humans and act as guardians of nature, while others are mischievous and even malevolent. So that sounds kind of like him too.
Yeah. I know some stories of them that sew people's eyes shut.
Yes.
Yeah. So.
And
Mm-hmm.
there's the benevolent Oni, which is Japanese the folklore. Onis are typically portrayed as malevolent. However, there are stories where Oni are protectors or benefactors of humans.
Yeah. So it's just the percentages are flipped is my feeling about it. Because anything intelligent can change its mind.
See, this is why we look this stuff up here, folks. Because sometimes we don't.
Now, we're not saying
things.
Go make friends with them.
Definitely not. Don't do that.
Yeah. Yeah. If 9 out of 10 are serial killers, don't take that chance. Like,
in this
that don't
case,
make sense.
If 99.936 is demon is bad, probably don't make friends with him. That's what we're going for.
Yeah. Yeah. But if his name's Gef, it might be okay.
I don't know, man. They're tricky. They might just say their name's Gef, but their name's really William. We don't know.
Oh, man, he could be lying by that. He was pretty consistent about that, though.
No, well, that's good. So what's the next part?
Okay, so the next part's the last part. This is going to tell you ending. Yeah, so I'm gonna preface it a little bit about this. Is that family, whatever, this circus went on for a long time, and they were from a small town. They just weren't used to this. They did not want any of this. Now they were hospitable and they put up with it for a while. But after a while, they were like, that's enough. And that's where we're going to pick up in the next part, which we're going to call Shadows and Fading Legacy.
Ooh, Shadows and Fading Legacies. Let's go, Nick.
The family eventually withdrew from all contact with the outside world, living as hermits. Even family, former friends, and the townsfolk lost contact with the now isolated family. They refused to deal further with the circus that had plagued them due to Gef and the subsequent media storm. Margaret and Voirrey Irving left the home in 1945 after the death of James Irving. They reportedly had to sell the farm at a loss because it had the reputation of being haunted. In 1946, Leslie Graham, who had bought their farm, claimed in the press that he had shot and killed Gef. The body displayed by Graham was, however, black and white and much larger than the famous mongoose, and Voirrey Irving was certain that it was not Gef. She died in 2005. In an interview published late in life, she maintained that Gef was not her creation. As the investigators closed their files and the media circus dispersed, the farmhouse stood in quiet isolation, its walls holding the secrets of an enigma that eluded explanation. Gef the Talking Mongoose became a spectral figure in the collective memory of those who experienced or studied the phenomenon, leaving behind a tapestry of theories, whispers, and lingering mysteries that continue to captivate the curious and perplex the rational mind. The Isle of Man, forever marked by the transient presence of Gef, retained its position as a canvas where the unexplained and the ordinary converge, inviting future generations to explore the shadows and unravel the enduring enigma of the talking mongoose.
How now to kill Gef? No. Gef, no.
No. That's not Gef. That's not Gef.
Let me tell you, that guy shooting Gef like that, that's messed up.
Well,
can go hurting
here's what people think happened, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Family retreated in. They never talked to anyone again. Whole family.
They became
stopped.
hermits.
They became hermits. This is 3 of them until the father died. Now, rumors and such coalesced during that time. They could not sell that house. Everyone at this point, they're like, it's haunted. We're not even thinking it's amusing anymore. So they're thinking that Gef has drove these people to become hermits, when really it's people traipsing all over their lawn, living in their house, recording their every movement. Well, that's not Jeff's fault. That's not Jeff's fault. So the mother has to sell it at a huge loss. And a guy bought it thinking he was going to flip the house, but no one would buy it from him. So what's he do? He's like, don't worry about it. I killed Gef. He ain't going to bother you. Come buy the house.
The OG really. Realtor.
Yeah. He's like, I shot him. He's gone. Don't worry about it.
He's gone. Listen, I skint him.
Yeah. But meanwhile, it's like, look, nothing like what people had seen of Gef, like little glimpses they caught of him and stuff like that. So he was just like doing the whole razzle dazzle to try and sell this house. He thought he was going to make a killing off of it.
Could you imagine? He's like, man, I killed that mongoose. He's dead. Someone's like, fine, I'll buy a house now. They go buy it, and all of a sudden they're sleeping here. Isn't me. Is Gef. Could you imagine?
My name Gef. What's your favorite dinosaur? Are you trying to go to sleep? Do you have to work in the morning?
What do you got going on? Hey, did you hear about that time I did blah, blah, blah?
Yeah. They're like, hey, I thought you killed Gef. He's like, no take backs.
No take me backs.
Yeah.
So no one ever heard Gef again after that moment.
Well, not that we heard about. But Gef definitely was not shot and killed by that guy. Jeff's out there. Gef told me to make this podcast. And that's why it's cursed.
What was the name of that mouse? Somewhere out there.
Fievel.
Fievel, yeah, man. Gef is Fievel. He's out there.
I had a little mongoose puppet that I could have brought up here, a sock puppet or something.
Oh man!
But yeah, this episode has been super cursed, and I think it's because it's
Gef. He doesn't want a story out.
He's letting us know he had enough of the fame. He wanted to retire. He's like
he
Amber Heard a little bit.
You know what would be crazy is if we looked into this freaking movie and it was cursed. Mm-hmm. Everything that has to do with Gef is cursed.
Like they had a hard time making the movie or something like that.
I'm going to tell everyone listening to this, I've got to edit this thing and I'm going to apologize. We've had since we've started doing this, and we've done this now for 4 months, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
We might have a issue come up. This thing has been and we've double checked things like internet speed, all of that. Neither one of us is having an issue.
That's right. But we've had what are we at? 6 or 7 problems, maybe more.
For sure.
Yeah.
Within the first 3 to 4 minutes.
Yeah.
Your entire screen just disappeared.
Yeah. Not to mention
Nick
I got stage fright before that. Thanks, Gef.
It's a cursed episode. That's going to be our title. The cursed episode. The
Wait.
story of Gef.
This is what the title's got to be. And it probably won't be when it comes out. It's got to be called The Cursed Episode. Me named Gef.
Regardless of what SEO says, listen, this may be the worst episode we ever did from a view perspective. Yeah. That's the title now.
Right. Maybe from the view perspective, but I had a blast with this one. I find
this was a blast.
Hilarious. And the tangents we went on, chef's kiss. Beautiful tangents.
Oh, listen, I don't think we're far off, though. I think there's some type of demon or something.
Yeah, I just think he's nice. He seems nice.
He's just a nice demon. Listen, we had nice AI Jesus last episodes.
Yeah, I think that's less surprising that Jesus was nice.
Nice guy Jesus, right? He's always
Buddy Jesus.
Buddy Jesus. That's what I was thinking. Yeah. 2 thumbs up.
Yeah.
I think Grand Theft Auto called him Nice Guy Jesus or something.
Oh, did they?
Like as a play off of it?
Maybe. Yeah, I was like thinking of that old movie Dogma when the church brought out Buddy Jesus to appeal to people.
Yeah,
rebranding.
Exactly. That movie messed with me though when it came out.
It was
a good movie though.
Oh yeah, I like that.
For sure. Well, hopefully y'all aren't cursed and you've watched this episode.
Mm-hmm. Hopefully we made it.
Yeah, exactly. Good night. Gef got the last laugh on that one. That's staying in. You cannot talk about Gef like this. Air 4.
I am not saying that name again tonight, or maybe ever again in the future.
This one, folks, was a cursed episode. If you think it's cursed, tell us in the comments down below. This is probably the most fun I've had on a podcast so far.
I've said it 5 times now. I cannot believe this is happening. This is thank goodness this was not one of our famous 2-parters.
I know. Could you imagine how many times we would have had to have done this? I would have gave up at this point, Nick.
I'd call in sick to work the next day for sure because we'd be up all night doing it.
Because I couldn't even tell you how long this one's going to be because we've got so many sections I've got to piece together.
I know. I'm so sorry. I feel so bad for you.
Oh, man. Well,
we both know who's to blame, but I can't say that name again.
I think this is the last demon episode we're doing till like 6 months in, Nick.
Yeah, we got to get on cooldown here or something.
We're going to have to listen. It's like when you go on timeout for being bad.
Mm-hmm.
We're on the bad side of someone.
I guess.
For anyone that doesn't know, obviously, wherever you listen to this podcast at, please be sure to rate us if you enjoyed this podcast. Because that's how people find us. And people like the unnamed. He's like Voldemort now. We can't name him.
He who shall not be named.
He who shall not be named. I not that this is part of it. My keyboard has RGB lights.
Mm-hmm.
I just noticed when I was doing all this that my RGB lights was solid red.
Oh.
And I had to change back to the rainbowish, which is what it's typically set on. Nick is looking to see if anything's crazy on his.
My LEDs are normally blue. They're red too. We got to get out of here, Bert. We got to get out of here.
Oh, man. Yep.
I'm getting concerned.
We delved into something we should have delved into, Nick.
Who would have thought it would be our powder puff episode?
Man, I would have thought it would at least been Rolling Dough episode or something. Good night.
I know, right? Wow.
Well, before we crash again or something else turns red on us, again, please be sure to like and subscribe. Until we see y'all on the next episode, goodbye.
See you later.